Good morning from us. Vlogmas days 3 and 4 is uploading, and Nash just wanted some time with his mom. So he asked to come sit up here. Look at his little hands on the counter, bracing himself. I'm about to go get ready for the day, and we'll see where today takes us. I've really been struggling, like mentally, not being able to work out. And so I just hopped on the bike and did a couple of pedals and figured out that I don't feel a ton of pain in my knee when I keep it on a really low resistance. So I'm just gonna do that because I've been super anxious and I just feel all cooped up and I just really need to exercise. It's just something that my body needs, and it's not like I've been putting it off because I'm dreading exercising. I actually really like it. And so to have it taken away because of this injury, which I feel like it's been months since I had surgery, and it's just very frustrating and annoying that it's taken this long for me to get over it. I don't know, but surgery is a major thing. I get it. It's not going to be fixed overnight, but I'm going to give it a shot. So 30 minutes on the Peloton, then I'm going to get ready, and then I'm finally going to go donate those clothes that have been living in my trunk for years on end. A lot of you have requested a get ready with me video, but that's just not really me. But I will get ready and talk to you about something else that's been highly requested, which is about what I do in general, because YouTube is not my full-time job. Long story short, I'm a recruiter, but I'm an in-house recruiter, so I don't go out to other companies and help like multiple companies find people to work for them. I work for one company and only recruit for that company. But I was not always that. So I actually went to school and started out as like a major in the hospitality industry. I always thought that I wanted to be some sort of event planner or something, just because that's what I really enjoy. I think there were a lot of reasons why I ended up changing my major. One, because I felt like it wasn't challenging enough. I felt like it wasn't respected, and that was like the vain side of me, changing my major because of that. I ended up changing my major to accounting. Now, it did not come without heartache. It did not come without a lot of tears and challenges, because it was a very challenging major. I went from one extreme to the other, but I don't regret it for a second because it got me to where I am today. So went through the formal recruiting process, like on the other end, tried to get an internship for my senior year of college, which I did successfully secure. And I remember going through the process and talking to my recruiter at the time and asking him, like, how do I get your job? Like, your job seems so fun. It just seems like the dream. And he was like, well, Maggie, that's not what I'm recruiting you for. So come work for us for a couple years and we'll see what we can do. And so sure enough, I did. And I was in the audit practice for 2 years. And miserable. I loved it at first though. That's the thing. Like, I really loved it on my internship. I loved the people that I worked with. I learned a ton. So I don't ever regret doing that. I just knew that I needed to change for my mental health. If you weren't aware, there's like what's known as a busy season in audit. And you basically work 3 months out of the year for 12 hours a day. It's very intense. It's very demanding. You have to really love what you do. And there are so many people that do love it and are so good at it. I just didn't find my whole self, like putting my whole self into that job, which was very odd because I'm somebody that if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it to the best of my abilities. So I just knew it wasn't the right fit for me. Around the time when I was kind of evaluating, like, what do I want to do? Do I want to change my job or something? That same recruiter that recruited me out of school sent me a text message that said, you know, call my boss. We're looking for somebody to fill in for a 6-month rotation. So I did. I called her, I interviewed for the position, and I got it. So for 6 months, I would come out of the audit practice and do recruiting. Really thought that it was going to be a temporary 6-month gig. I loved it. I was just like absorbing everything. It was exactly what I had hoped it would have been. Toward the end of that rotation, there were actually 2 of us that were rotating through the department. So the 2 of us had to like interview and kind of compete for the role, which was so awkward. And I ended up getting it. And so I've been in recruiting for the past like 3 years now, and I love it. When I was first making the move to recruiting, I remember feeling so guilty that I had, you know, gone to grad school and gotten my master's degree in accounting, and I got my CPA, and I feel like I spent all this time and hard work and my parents' money, like getting these degrees to do a job that I was no longer going to do. And I remember crying and being like, I feel like I've wasted time and money and stuff. And they're like, no, that is a great degree to have under your belt. And after taking some time, stepping back and realizing it, and now getting to put a lot of those skills to use in my current job, I totally agree. In October of 2019, a promotion opportunity came up, and it's a very unique role. And what it's called is a rotator position. So I went from recruiting routinely at very specific schools in one particular market of the country to now every 6 months I get a new job. It's really cool. It requires me to be extremely agile, and I've loved it. Like solidifies every day how much I love my job and the people that I work with and how smart the people are that I work with, because in this role, since I'm changing all the time, I'm working with different markets, which is why I work with people on the East and the West Coast, and I'm meeting so many new people, learning so many new skills. It's just allowed me to grow and change, and it's super challenging, but I love it. I love it. I feel like that's kind of rare for people to really like their job like that, and so I know I definitely don't take it for granted. And I love doing YouTube on the side. Oftentimes it can be a lot. Even in my busier times, I still like really love doing YouTube on the side. This is just a fun, like kind of creative outlet, even though now I'm allowed to be so much more creative and I have so much input in my current job that I don't know, I'm just all around very fulfilled with both my hobby and my real job. So sometimes I look back and I'm like, how did I get to where I am? And I feel like so many people's careers are kind of like that. Like they don't even go to school for the job that they work in now, which is nuts, because in college you feel like your major is gonna be a make or break and it defines your whole life. It doesn't. Ever since COVID hit, all of our travel has been on hold. We don't even have an office reopening date, and I don't hate it. I do miss traveling. I miss meeting people in person, and I miss that real like personal aspect of my job, but I really haven't hated the transition to working from home all the time. That's a little bit about me, so I'm gonna finish getting ready.
He makes both sides and he smashes them together.
What do you mean smash? Like picks them both up in a palm and just smacks them?
Yes.
That's just inefficient. I thought you meant like one piece of bread folded and another piece of bread folded, to where you had like 2 mini PB&Js.
No, that'd be kind of cool. It's like a PB&J pita pocket.
Yeah, I like taco.
When do you plan on running your errand?
After I eat this sandwich.
Okay, so I don't see. Oh, you're filming.
It's a hot debate. Brian and I are already discussing like how controversial it can be to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and how everybody has their own way of doing it. So I put peanut butter on both sides of the bread, which is a definite holdover from when I used to take PB&Js to lunch at school. My mom would always put the peanut butter on both sides and the jelly in between, because the jelly can make the bread soggy. I prefer raspberry or strawberry jelly over anything else. And then also I'm a diagonal cutter. Again, leftover from my mom. I know. I'm sure a lot of you were like gasping and having very strong opinions about how I made that sandwich, but that's my defense. So there you go. See him begging for the PBJ? You can't have that, Bubba. All right, I changed into something a little cozier because we're not leaving the house anymore today. And I think I'm gonna eat a snack. I was able to knock out some Christmas gifts. I got Brian a couple of little like small things, and then we were able to get our friends Ashley and Jordan something exciting, and they watch this, so I cannot tell you what it is. Anyway, yeah, so it was a good, productive afternoon. Nash is on the way. Hi, buddy. He's been so sleepy. Brian took him on a walk, and he was able to play with one of his best friends, Knox. Nash is very popular in the neighborhood, if you haven't come to realize that yet. I talk about his friends all the time, and we have not repeated a friend this week. He just wants to have fun. He said, Mom, I would like to go out. Okay. In or out, buddy? It's way too cold for me out there. And I'm just counting down the minutes until 5 o'clock so that I can have another one of those canned cocktails. I mean, it's Saturday, so all bets are off, but I feel like that's just the reasonable thing to do. All right, I'm gonna out myself. It is not quite 5 o'clock yet, but Brian wanted a beer. So I was like, well, it's just 45 minutes, so we're just gonna try it. So tonight I'm gonna try the Tequila Paloma, which happens to be one of my friend's favorite types of drinks. So let's see if this is just as good. This smells really grapefruity. If you're not familiar with what a Paloma is, it's just tequila and grapefruit juice and a little bit of lime ordinarily. This says, yeah, with only reposado tequila, sparkling water, real grapefruit, and lime juice. Pretty good. It says it has fewer than 2 grams of sugar, which is definitely not characteristic of a normal Paloma, I feel like. I'm digging it. We sat down to watch a Christmas movie, and Christmas with the Cranks is no longer on Netflix. And then we looked and we thought that we had Hulu Premium. Turns out we don't, because we don't have access to Christmas with the Cranks there either. How are we supposed to watch this? Brian's never seen it.
I've seen it before. I just haven't seen it in a while.
Oh, okay. Well, either way.
Don't spread those lies.
We're just snuggling. Bubba. You have anything to say? You just like squishing your mom? Oh. Thank you. Oh, thank you. What is this? Brian just keeps acting like Nash is a baby at a real photo shoot. He's just waving his hands above the camera.
Or like the monkeys at the zoo when you take your keys out.
We just finished watching The Santa Claus, which is definitely, well, I said it was my favorite to Brian before it got started, but I'm having a hard time deciding between that and Home Alone. Definitely top 2 favorite Christmas movies. And typically, what?
Home Alone.
Oh, is that your favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Brian's declared that one his favorite. So maybe I'll choose The Santa Claus so that we can always watch both. But typically, my family watches The Santa Claus on Christmas Eve, but I always have to watch it like multiple times throughout the holiday season. Anyway, now it's time for dinner, which is weird because we watched a movie in the middle of the day, and so now I just feel unnecessarily tired. But we are not cooking out of the Defined Dish cookbook. We are cooking out of the second Magnolia Table cookbook. And this is one we've never tried before, but it's the orecchiette pancetta, aka it's like pasta, bacon, cream sauce kind of thing. This is not good for you, but this is gonna be really good for a cold winter's night. All right, we have our pound of orecchiette pasta boiling with salted water. And then in this pan, this is where all the flavor's happening. We have some bacon and a shallot all cut up. I'm about to cut the garlic that will also go in here for the last like 2 or so minutes just so that it doesn't burn. There's the garlic. We've got to cut up this lemon, and then we have to get the cream sauce ready. It also involves some of this like Parmesan cheese and some peas. Okay, now that the bacon, shallot, garlic mixture is out of this pan, then all you had to do is add butter. I used vegetable broth. The recipe actually called for chicken broth, but this is what we already had on hand. And then I also used mostly this Nut Pods oat creamer and just supplemented a little bit with this. This, I'm supposed to whisk it all together and bring this to a simmer. And then you reduce the heat a little bit. Ooh, then we're gonna add the Parmesan cheese. We're gonna let this do its thing, and then I'll show you the final product. Well, this just looks too good. I am so excited to try this. Now we just gotta figure out why Brian's taking his sweet time in the shower, right, Bubba? Dinner's ready.
Ah!
The best dessert to follow that delicious pasta meal. Can you give me your rating of the pasta meal out of a scale of 10?
What scales do you normally default to?
What was yours?
Probably an 8.
An 8 is pretty high. Okay, but now, if you haven't ever had these before, this is just chocolate covered raspberries. It actually has 2 layers of chocolate, a white chocolate layer and then a milk chocolate layer, and these are delicious. We've tried the cherries too, and it was a wah, wah.
Not great.
The cherries are kind of like mushy inside. It was strange, so definitely go with raspberry. Our dishwasher's running in the background, so ignore the ambient noise, but I had to show you this cute sleeping Nash. Brian took him outside in the backyard to run around with him, and he just fell asleep with his harness on and all. You sleepy, Bubba? Oh, stretch a puppy. And he's sleeping next to his best friend Santa Claus and doesn't even know it. Happy Vlogmas Day 6. One thing I'm really grateful for with this whole Vlogmas thing, whoa, is that I typically would get ready like maybe once or twice a week before I started doing this. And then when I've decided, you know, to put my life on the internet, I don't want to look at myself, you know, looking all raggedy, not ever putting on real clothes. So it's made my life feel a lot more normal in a way, even though me doing this every day is not normal at all, if that makes any sense. So let's change our little advent calendar. Moving down to the second row. And it's the cutest little Christmas tree with these little pom-poms, but it does make it a little tricky to actually fit into the pockets, especially one-handed. Brian just so kindly vacuumed the entire house while I got the breakfast ready. Brian's having breakfast tacos, and then I'm just having regular eggs, and I made this little avocado mash that I'm gonna eat with it. I'm not gonna put it on toast or anything just because after our pasta dish last night, I'm trying to be a little less carby. And yeah, we've just been listening to some Christmas tunes. Nash is over here eating his breakfast too. Anyway, we were just listening to the Home Alone movie score. I figured this was something y'all didn't know about me, but I really love movie scores. In fact, speaking of Spotify Wrapped, one year, John Powell, who is the composer of all of the How to Train Your Dragon soundtracks, was in my top 3 artists that year. Mostly because I think that was the year I was studying for the CPA and I was listening to movie scores all the time because I would listen to music without words while I was studying. 2 years ago, we went to Home Alone in concert. So we went to see the Dallas Symphony play the movie score to Home Alone while we watched the movie. And it was awesome. Too bad we can't do anything like that this year. But they also had a series with like Jurassic Park and Star Wars, and there was a Pixar movie, Coco, Harry Potter. They do all of these really, really good ones. We've only been to Home Alone, but have intentions of going to others once the world resumes. Breakfast was really good, and now I sat down to create some stocking stuffer gift guides. Originally, I thought that I was going to make this an actual video on my channel, but since times of ticket and shipping times are just so bizarre this year with the virus and everything is delayed, truthfully, I've experienced it myself with a couple of things that I've ordered for family. So I think instead of releasing the stocking stuffer gift guide on my channel, I'm gonna let it live on my Like to Know It in a little like pretty slide of pictures where you can like shop directly from it. And then next year, I'll put together a stocking stuffer gift guide for my channel with new ideas. And each year I like to come up with like new gift guides because I feel like I'm pretty proud of the gift guides that I come out with, and you can kind of reference those from year to year. Working on that now, watching The Crown, the new season. Yeah, just enjoying this morning. And then later today, I think I'm finally going to go see my friend Kessler, who I haven't seen in weeks. And since we've now like had some time since we've all seen our families over the holidays, we feel like it's probably a good time to see each other. So anyway, that's what's on the docket today. Just enjoying this lazy Sunday. The boys just hanging out. Brian had to rescue this pillow. This poor pillow is always a victim of this tiny dog.
The boy loves his tassels.
Yeah. What's weird is we have this other pillow over here that he only chews on like a fourth of the time. Like this one has tassels and is very tempting.
That one has just straight tassels. These have little balls.
And he just loves this. Somehow this has survived. I've had this since freshman year of college. This is legitimately a decade-old pillow, which is nuts to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
It suffered more in the short tenure of little baby Nash than it did all of the
I know. That's insane. And he started getting the stuffing out of his favorite toy. This is Greenie Weenie, for those of you that don't know. He's created this hole and started pulling out his insides. Oh, poor Greenie Weenie. Greenie Weenie's already lost an eyebrow, though.
Greenie Weenie, he thought he needed good like eyebrow waxing, and then now he thinks he needs to lose a little weight.
Oh, gosh. Nash,
yeah.
that's so judgmental.
I know, he's giving Greenie some body issues, or body image issues.
Oh, goodness.
It's alright, buddy. We can't all be as beautiful as you.
Nash, let me see what you got. Oh, yeah, that's good. Brian, did Santa wrap presents in your family?
Can we redo this when I don't have my headset on?
Why? He wrapped your presents that he brought you?
Yeah, he doesn't just halfway do it.
Well, ours weren't wrapped from Santa. And we only had like 1 or 2 from Santa, and then the rest came from our parents and were wrapped under the tree.
Dang, I guess Santa in Mississippi trying to cut them costs.
Well, that's what somebody said that was interesting. I'm about to sit down and film an entire segment because I've gotten some very interesting answers from people.
My hair was up. So you wrap everything from your parents except for one present from Santa?
Well, we would have like Santa presents and they would be unwrapped and they'd be sitting on the couch when we woke up. So you would just like immediately see them and it would be like,
so
I
what
don't
happens
know, mom weigh in, like 1 or 2?
What does any of this have to do with if it's wrapped or not?
It doesn't necessarily, but that just started the conversation of like, that was one thing that I asked was, does Santa wrap your presents or not? And then people were saying like, oh, well, Santa wrapped my presents, but it was only 1 and the rest for mom and dad. Or, oh, Santa wrapped my presents and it was I only had 1 for my parents or something like that. So everybody did everything differently, which I think is really interesting. Yeah, Santa must be instructing everybody differently. I have no idea. I'm very confused.
Well, Santa just, he's taking a lot of like leadership courses and he's learned that everyone works differently, and so it's not a one-size-fit-all regimen.
Okay, we are on the way to pick up some tacos to go, and then we're gonna take them back over to Emma and Kessler's. I went over there earlier today. Anyway, we decided to do dinner at their house tonight, so that's what we're doing right now. And I'll let y'all meet them when we get there. If they're willing to be on the camera, we'll see. There's Kessler. We're watching Elf right now. There's Emmett. We just had our tacos. Brian's here too.
Yeah, here's some time.
We might play a game. What game would we play? Not Dutch Blitz.
Not Dutch Blitz, not dominoes.
Why not dominoes?
I think it's just pure luck.
Brian's bad at dominoes.
And Dutch Blitz.
Covered up in her blanket. So spoiled. Yeah, are spoiled. Sleeping with Uncle Brian.
Mm-hmm.
She's such a baby. Why are you messing with me? Did Crabby put you up to this? My ponytail is really falling throughout the day. But we are back with our baby Nash from Emma and Kessler's house. And now I'm about to get ready for bed and turn in. I am exhausted. I'm going to wake up in the morning and finish editing this Vlogmas, which I think is going to be the longest one yet. So I'm going to try to edit myself going forward. But anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed following along, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.